Hello and welcome to 7 Days of Halloween.
Hi everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to Taylor-Made Cards for You. Well, today I want to work with the set that I got last year, and it was one of those sets that I had to have. It definitely is right up my alley, perfect for my style, but I didn't end up using it as much as I wanted to. And it's this set here, it's Examination, and as you can see it has some great images. It has the skeleton, it has some labels, backgrounds, and these lovely labels that I just adore. These are awesome. And then of course this physician and surgeon. But one of the things I struggled with when I went to use this set is the size of the physician and surgeon stamp, because I don't typically make stamps, or excuse me, cards that are this wide. I even thought about cutting the stamp because I've seen some people do that, but I didn't really know if I wanted to commit to cutting my stamp. But then I figured there was a way to use it without having to cut it, and I could still size it down. And that's what I want to work on today. I want to show you how I created this really fun, I want to call it like a teacher's aid, a teaching aid, because this definitely is a skeleton that you would teach with, like if you're in a science class or something like that. But I just thought it was a really great image, and something that you can create a tag out of if you wanted to. You can put it on a card. Just a lot of things you could do with this design. So that's what I wanted to focus on today, is just showing you how to create this really easy background display, I guess I could say, using this set. And also I might actually use the field note set, because this would be perfect as well for some of the labels. So there's a lot of ways you can go with this. I'll probably make a few card plates because I'm going to end up giving some of these away in my kits that I'm putting together. So I need to make a few of these, but I just wanted to go ahead and do this on camera and show you how easy and fun this background is. Now the paper that I'm using is this set here that I got in a thrift store. Yes, people, I am a thrifter. I love going to thrift stores. You never know what you're going to find. And these cards were for it looks like some sort of a file, but the card, what I liked about them is the heaviness of the card. It had a little bit of a shine as well, which I liked, and I thought they would make great tags, actually, is what I thought that they would be good for. So that's what I want to do today, is just create some backings to use in some of my kits. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to make our background, we're going to be working with Distress inks. It seems ever since the oxides came out, that tends to be my go-to ink. And I'm not sure why I haven't given my Distress inks any love, but that's what we're going to do today. I've got Vintage Photo, I've got Antique Linen, and then I've got my favorite, which is Walnut Stain. So we're going to be working with these to create some really easy backgrounds. And the first thing that I did is I went ahead and I added some of the Antique Linen to the card base, because I wanted it to look a little bit older. So nothing fancy here, just adding the ink to the card base. The cardstock that I'm using is, I want to say it's glossy, but it's not really glossy, but it kind of feels like that. So the ink slides on really nicely. You've got to let it dry because it will come off. That actually wasn't too bad. But you want to kind of keep that in mind when you are working with glossy paper. Maybe you can use semi-gloss. Like I said, I found these in a thrift store because I like to repurpose items. Don't like to always have the same thing everybody else has, so I like to find unique items I can use in my crafting. All right, so I've got my Antique Linen all spread out. The next thing I'm going to do is probably something you've seen 1,000 times, just creating a background. I'm going to go ahead and use my Vintage Photo. I didn't do multiple colors on this one because, again, I wanted it to look like an aged teaching aid. I didn't really want to overdo it. So that's why I kind of kept it simple to the colors. So I'm just adding some of the discoloration to my card here. Let's just see what we can do here. And then whenever you're doing this technique, you always want to have some sort of a napkin or tool to clean up. And I had one. Of course, I'm always losing everything. Okay, so I went ahead and I picked up a napkin really quickly here. I do want to add a little bit more ink. I want it to be a little bit more splotchy. So let's see if we can, that's a technical term. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some splotchiness going on here. Yeah. So I'm just having to push down on the card a little bit more rather than swipe it. I was pushing down to get some of that dark ink. Now that looks great. All right, and then I do want to go ahead and dry this because I am going to be stamping on it. Okay, and then just test it to make sure all your ink is dry because you don't want it to smear, you know, when you go to stamp it. All right, so now that we have our background put together, let's go ahead and get this stamped. Now I think on this particular one, I ended up cutting it down a bit, but I think I'm going to leave this longer because I'm just going to end up leaving this as a tag and not turn it into a card. So I kind of might want to think about that. So the stamp I'm going to work with first is, of course, this skeleton. Ooh, and the light just changed, so it got a little eerie in here. All right, let's see. Keeping in mind, we are going to use that table of skeleton on the sides, so keep that in mind when you are lining up your stamp. All right, and then for the black ink, I'm using my go-to, which is my archival. All right, let's see if we can get her done. I'm a little bit wobbly here. I'm not sure why. Let's see if we can do something about that. I'm a messy crafter, people. Got a lot going on my desk. All right, so I'm gonna stamp this down. Ooh, I like it. And then I'm gonna go one more time because that pelvic bone isn't dark enough. All right. What an awesome image. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to just put this aside. I don't want my ink to smear, so we're going to go ahead and dry it. Now, if you also want to help the drying, you can add clear embossing powder. That definitely will help seal the ink. Makes it a little bit more shiny, but that's a trick that I use as well. All right, so I've got my skeleton. The next thing I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to stamp. Since I've already got my design laid out, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mix it up. I'm going to do my table of the skeleton next, and that's going to go, it's going to go right next to the skeleton. All right. And then again, I'm going to use my black archival ink. And like I said, you can use this as a card base. You can use it as a tag. If you make it longer, you can make it into a slimline. You can cut it down and make it into a 5x7 or even an A2 card, which is your 4 1/4 by 5.5. It's a lot of ways you can go with this, but it's a fun way to be able to use several stamps in one set and create a fun card, but also an easy card. I mean, there's not really a lot to this. All right, now here's this stamp that I considered cutting, and I chose not to just because I don't like to dismember my stamps. I mean, it's kind of funny, but I don't want to destroy my stamps, and I know I could still use it if I cut it, but I'm just not a fan of cutting stamps. I know some people do it with no problem. I'm just not one of those people. So the way that I did this, just making sure my ink is not still wet. But when I inked it, I just inked the part that I wanted to stamp. So a very easy fix. This one is a little bit easier to do that than some of the other ones that might be a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter. These words are spread out, so it makes it a little bit easier to ink it and not ink part of the stamp that you don't want to have ink on. All right, so this is the surgeon. So I want to make sure I just add ink to the surgeon side, and I'm doing this off camera. So let me show you what I'm doing here. All right, so some people will also, just to make sure, they will add paper or something. So if you're kind of loose with your ink, you know, and you don't want to get ink on the part of the stamp that you don't want to stamp, you can always cover up part of the word. And then again, just using your stamping platform, you know, give it some pressure, and I was able to do that with just one swipe, which was nice. Now I would recommend for this to stamp the surgeon first, because you're going to see what I mean here. You can move this over, and then when you use the physician and sign, it kind of comes off of the paper. So even if you have a little bit of ink left on the stamp, you're still safe not to, you know, stamp something you don't want to stamp. So I'm just going to place that right there. And I'm making it tight, as you can see, and that's intentional, because if I do make it into a tag, I'm going to want to have a little hole on the top. So I'm kind of taking that into consideration as I go along here. So again, I don't want to stamp the physician. It's off the tag, but you know, if you're a concerned crafter, if you are a crafter stamper that gets nervous when you're stamping, by all means cover it up. All right, so let's go ahead and give it some pressure, and one swipe is perfect. It's working well. Okay, so now we have the base of the tag. Let's add some extras. Now on the original card that I made, I used this little guy right here, and it was fine. It worked well, but I wanted it to be more like an exhibit, something, you know, again, my idea was to have like a teaching flashcard kind of. So I want to go ahead and see if I can find something that might work a little bit better. Like I said, I'm going to make a few of these. I may not make them all on camera, but I might mix up a little bit. But this identification check tag 15082, I think is perfect. So that's what we're going to use. Let's see. Whoops. All right. Ugh. Now I'm going to move this over again. Figure out where we're going to put this. Where should we put this? Should we put it down here? I think so. Can you see that? Am I off camera? All right. So that's where I'm going to put it. All right. get it where you want it, line it up, ink it up, and then stamp away. All right. Identification check. Love it. Awesome. All right. It's not too creepy, right? But it's definitely got that Halloween vibe going on. All right. Give it another stamp. I don't know why. I didn't really need it, but I did it anyway. It's my tag. I can stamp it as many times as I want. All right. Now remember, you guys, these are just ideas for Halloween. You don't have to copy the design exactly. You're more than welcome to. I love it. I think, what's that saying? Copying is the best form of praise or something like that. So I don't mind if you copy my designs, but it's your design. You know, get ideas out for these videos. Copy it completely. Alter it a bit. It's your card. You do whatever you want. I want to grunge up the edges, and again, I'm going to make this into a tag, so I'm going to have to snip that, and then I want to round the bottoms. But like I said, I want to grunge it up a bit. So let me see if I can find my distressor and my piles here, and we will do that. Okay, so I just had my little tantrum off screen because I couldn't find my distressor. One of the biggest frustrations is I'll use something and I'll put it aside, and then I'll go to use it again and I can't find it. I don't know if it's age. You know, I'm definitely not a young chick anymore. But, oh God, I just get so frustrated when I was like, I just had it. Where'd it go? Put on my glasses, stop, search my whole desk. Oh my gosh. And what's the worst, I've done this, and I know other crafters have done this, is, you know, their stamps will get stuck underneath their stamping platform, or, oh my gosh. You know, I try to be somewhat organized when I stamp because I know how irritated I get when I lose things. But, oh man. We just want our toys. We just want to be able to find our toys when we want to use them. All right. So this little guy, I love. I use him a lot. Maybe it's a her. I don't know. But I love the way it distresses the sides of my cards. Use walnut stain. And then I just add ink to it. And I just love the look. Okay. So I think this is coming out really cool. All right, that looks awesome. Okay, so what am I doing next? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round the bottom of my tag using my chomper. This little guy is a little bit of an investment, but it's probably one of the better investments. And I also bought the hole puncher, which I really like as well. So if you use eyelets, this is great. I love it. So like I said, a little bit of an investment, but well worth it. All right, so got that. And then I want to do, like I said, I'm making this into a tag. Let's see if I can eyeball this without screwing it up. And now I use this little piece here as a guide. Oh, that looks nice. And then I am going to punch a hole here. Let's see what I'm going to do. Let me think about this a second. Okay, so this is what I ended up using, this tag and tie. So I just cut out this little piece here to add to my tag, and as you can see, it creates a really cute little tag here as well. I wonder if this would fit. Look at that. Ooh, maybe we'll have to do that as well. Okay, so what am I doing? I want to go ahead and distress this up a bit. I like it. What does Tim say? It's all in the details. So take your time, add the details. That's what makes it fun. All right. And I'm gonna have to punch a hole in that, aren't I? Okay, we'll have to figure that out too. Maybe I'll punch the hole first. So I'm going to go ahead and punch the hole first. I have this puncher that is awesome. Got it from my mother-in-law when she passed away. She was a crafter as well. She was actually the one that introduced me to Tim Holtz products. So surprise, surprise. Ooh, that's not going to be big enough. Let's see. Yeah. How am I going to do this? All right, we're going to figure this out. So let's punch the hole. Actually, that's all right. I'm going to go with it. Okay. I was thinking it was going to be odd because the hole is smaller than the, what is this called? The ring? I don't know. But I think it looks okay. If not, you guys hopefully have a bigger hole punch. But I think, for me, this looks wonderful. All right. Oh, that looks so good. I love it. Okay. So that, I think that pretty much does it. I mean, you can keep going with this if you wanted to. I have, what do I have? I have those small remnant rubs around here somewhere. Y'all, you need to see my desk. It's just ridiculous. It's a mess. That's why I can't ever find anything. All right, so I just had to show you because you hear me complaining about this, and it's a true problem. I need to get organized. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I found these on my desk that I was playing with the other day. I'm gonna add those bones. Oh, those are awesome. I see so many of the designers using these. And I bought them last year, and I just haven't committed to using them, but today's the day. So I'm going to let that dry. You know what? I think I'm going to add more glue because I don't want it to come off. All right. Fun. And we're going to put this aside to dry because I think it needs to dry. But that's pretty much it, you guys. You can turn them into like flashcards. You can turn them into tags like I did here. If you don't want the big ones, you can, you know, create the smaller ones as well. There's just a lot that you can do with this set. And like I said, I didn't use it very much last year. But I knew when I saw it, I had to have it. There's certain stamp sets that Tim comes out with. He came out with that new skeleton one where it has the big face. And that's on order. I should be getting it next week because it's going to be in one of my 7-day videos. But there's just certain stamp sets that I have to have, and this was one of them. And I'm so glad that I did, and I finally committed to using it because I think it's an awesome stamp. So as always, I'll leave a list of all the products that I've used to create this, along with the links to the stores. And if you've enjoyed my video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. This is a 7-day series, so I'll be back tomorrow with another video. And I am going to do a giveaway at the end of the video series, 7-day series. So make sure you're leaving comments on all of the videos, because to qualify for my drawing, you're going to have to leave a comment on my videos. And maybe in my next video, I'll show you what I'm going to be giving away, because I'm going to be giving away a couple things. I'm going to be giving away this craft kit to get you going on your holiday crafting. And then maybe I'll give away some digital items as well. I haven't decided. But I am going to do some giveaways at the end of the series. So make sure, my point is, make sure you're leaving comments on all the videos so you can be entered into my drawing. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.